Greetings once again, my friends, and welcome back to yet another vlog where I'm just going to ramble on as I have the last couple of videos, but apparently you guys like it, so we're just going to keep that going. And the next subject that I actually want to get into is a subject that came up while I was on... a few of you guys have actually come out and called it paternity leave. I guess you could call it that. I mean, I am the father, so I took leave. But it was a little bit longer than that, and I was just trying to help out. But this is actually a question I got, and it made me giggle a little bit, but I'm just going to go ahead and bring it here, and I think it's actually good discussion matter. So a viewer at one point messaged me, and thankfully I have a good relationship with this person, so they're, I'm not like angry at them, but you know what? They actually posed an interesting question, so I guess I'll get into it and be a little snarky as I do so, because, that's me. But he noticed that a lot of the anime references... So, people will know I am a fan of anime. I've been watching it since... I guess you could say early childhood, because I do remember seeing Voltron. I don't officially consider myself an anime fan until my teens, but the way to look at it is simply... a lot of the stuff that I talk about is stuff that I grew up with, or stuff that is nostalgic to me. Not necessarily something modern like, say, Attack on Titan or Princess Principal or stuff like that. And so the argument that got laid before me is, you talk about anime that were in the 90s and the 80s and all that stuff, but you don't talk about any modern anime that you've ever watched. Therefore, I contest, sir, that you are not an anime fan. Was the dramatic music really necessary? Okay. So even though this is friendly banter, this is stuff that actually happens online a lot, and so I figured I would address this issue by going from my particular angle. So first things first, let's define what we're actually talking about. And the definitions that I have are from the Urban Dictionary, because that's always such a credible source. I felt snarky, so I went down this route. So first of all, the definition of anime from the Urban Dictionary: a style of animation that originated and is still heavily centered in Japan. The word anime is based on the original Japanese pronunciation of the American word animation. Okay, so now we kind of have a basic definition. Anime is a style of animation that is heavily centered in Japan. And a lot of anime comes from Japan, strangely enough. Now, let's go ahead and take this one step further, shall we? Again, we go to the Urban Dictionary, once again, what is an anime fan? Alright, so I'm not going to read the whole definition here, but you guys can look it up, and I'll even put links in the description. So, anime fan, a fan of anime. Simple, isn't it? Just to clear some things up. An anime fan is not an otaku. Otaku refers to a loner who bases their life around a work of fiction of any kind and loses track of reality because of it. An anime fan is not necessarily a fanboy or fangirl. They don't have to be that annoying. I don't know why they put it that way, but okay. Not all... and then we're going to skip down basically to the end where it says, anime fans like anime. That's all. Now, Drak, I'm sure a few of you are saying, like, Drak, aren't you taking this a little far? I mean, you're having some friendly banter here. There's a reason I actually want to bring it up, because this is one of the issues that I have a feeling I'm going to be talking about quite a bit on Drak Vlogs. Because this was silly banter that was brought up to me. There have been people who have seriously asked the question of, I haven't watched anything modern, and for the record, to your knowledge. Because if you go back into the Drak and Shadow video library or into mine, you'll notice that I talk about modern anime. Recently, like in the last year or so, I got my first exposure to the anime Food Wars and love it for some weird reason. It works for me. It's just that anime level of silly that I can go back to every now and again. Or the fact that I watch Boruto, Dragon Ball Super. The most, and it's very well documented, I'm a fan of the Gundam franchise. Oh wait, but some of you actually will point out that doesn't count. Why? I'm asking honestly. Why doesn't that count? Because the bottom line is, it's anime. I'm watching anime, ergo I am a fan of anime. I'm just a fan of a particular brand. But those are more mainstream, Drak. And still anime. That's kind of the issue that comes up with this argument, is it's still anime. Just because I'm not watching the show that you in particular want to watch doesn't necessarily mean I'm not an anime fan. If you're saying I'm not a fan of Attack on Titan, you'd be accurate. I'm not. I've gone on the record numerous times saying I don't like Attack on Titan because it's a post-apocalyptic story. And I'm done with that kind of stuff. But not being a fan of Attack on Titan isn't not being an anime fan, because I'm a fan of Full Metal Alchemist, which came out in the 2000s. I'm a fan of Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, Wolf's Rain. I was about to bring up Samurai Champloo. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of that. But you see what I mean? Is that I am a fan of anime. Just because I don't watch anything modern, yes, a lot of my stuff caters towards the nostalgic, and I'll give you that entirely. I am in the upwards end of my life. I'm in my 30s, and yeah, I am waxing a little nostalgic because, you know, I'm a parent, and I'm looking back, or I'm looking at my kids' childhood and looking back on mine, and mine is filled with Voltron and Ronin Warriors and Samurai Pizza Cats for some stupid reason. There's a reason all that happened. You know, like there's a reason that I am the anime fan that I am today. Is I was shaped by my past, and my past is filled with the stuff. And the other reason I want to bring up with this, I don't mean to go off on a rant here, but this is such a stupid argument, especially when we as geeks should be coming together and sharing in the fandom that we all have. You know, I can still remember, and here we go again, Drak is gonna show he's old. I remember a time where anime fans were just as much a social pariah as D&D fans, as gamers. I can still remember a time where a lot of my relatives, and to this day, they still kind of have that feeling of games are for kids, they're toys. And yeah, they're right, but it's also made for adults too. There's nothing wrong with that. TV's made, we have literal TV shows that are made specifically towards kids, TV that's made specifically towards adults, and TV that's specifically made towards families. Film, art, all that stuff goes into those multiple mediums, and all we need to do to be able to appreciate it fully is to appreciate it together. I don't see why there has to be this, and I think a few of you, plus the Shadow Blazer, have come up with a really awesome term for it, and that is gatekeeping. Why are we gatekeeping franchises? Why are we gatekeeping fandoms? Why are we gatekeeping genres? It's kind of stupid, isn't it? Don't we all want to just come together and explain to fellow Dragon Ball fans why Goku going Ultra Instinct is still kind of cool, even though it feels kind of unnecessary? Can't we just come together as Naruto fans and realize that, you know, even though you might not like the whole rivalry between Naruto and Sasuke, Kakashi's still pretty cool, right? He's still a pretty cool character, my favorite character. Is it wrong of us to be able to come together and say, as anime fans, like, you know, I've been really looking forward to another shonen that I can pick up, but isn't necessarily all that mainstream. Hey, dude, I've got you covered. Why do we have to instead be the society of, oh no, you haven't watched all of the fall season of 2018. How dare you? You need to get out of here. You are offending me. Why does it have to go that direction? Is my honest question here. Why can't we all just sit back and enjoy anime together? I'm sure that, look, I don't like Attack on Titan. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's willing to tell me they don't like Gundam. And that's okay. Gundam caters to me. Attack on Titan may just cater to you. That's the way it's always gone. And this goes towards all fandoms, but we'll try and find unique approaches for each of those as well. But this has been a bugger for me for quite a while now, is like, I still remember times where finding somebody else who liked anime was a really tough thing, and being able to properly talk to them was also a tough thing. And now that people have more saturation, and there's, you know, I'm getting ready to actually go to an anime convention, Anime Bonsai, in Layton, Utah. Wow, like, when I was growing up, this would never have existed. In fact, when I went to Anime Bonsai last time, I actually was able to talk to a guy who's around my age who loves Evangelion, and that's great. And him and me were just kind of sitting there going like, where did we have to go to talk about anime? You really couldn't go anywhere. Maybe to the local game stores if you were doing D&D and all that stuff. I didn't have a local one, but I think he did. And those were the places that you went. And so in a lot of like, I couldn't take anime to the schoolyard. Are you kidding me? Back when I was growing up, the politics of the sandbox were if you like this mainstream hot thing, which now is anime, but it wasn't then. If you were into anime, then you were the outlaw, you were the pariah, you were the psycho, you were the one that was going to do horrible, evil things. Or as, you know, the generation before me had to deal with, oh, you play that D&D game? Oh, I'll bet you just worship Satan, don't you? I'm not meaning to go off on a tear here, guys, but can we please just stop the because for lack of a better term, guys, this is the politics of the sandbox making its way into our fandom. And just as much as regular politics should not be involved in our fandoms, this shouldn't be involved here. There shouldn't be a litmus test of you've watched this much anime in this year, or you haven't watched these Hallmark anime, ergo you're not a fan. I didn't sit there and criticize the Shadow Blazer for not watching Cowboy Bebop as him saying, hand in your anime card. You've never ever done that. I knew for a fact, and if I did joke about it, that you guys are going to bring that up to me, it was always in a joking fashion. Okay? I know that Alex is an anime fan. I know he is because he does lots of videos on it. And his collection probably dwarfs mine. That's a pretty good indication that he's an anime fan, all right? You know, despite whatever problems people have with me bringing up the Urban Dictionary, I'm pretty safe in saying that he's a fellow anime fan, and it's okay that I like the mainstream stuff and he likes more niche stuff. None of that's wrong. Can we please all just calm down for a second and realize, hey, we're all anime fans. Let's get together and watch some anime. Anyway, again, I don't want to keep these going too long, but this is definitely something that I have to laugh at, but at the same time needs to be fixed amongst fandoms. And it's not just anime. Gamers do it too, and TV fans do it too. Cinephiles do it as well, and it's getting ridiculous. It's getting to a point where we're finding ways to we're literally looking for ways to figure out how people are not like us. When I was growing up, I was very much struggling trying to find people who were like me. And that was hard in and of itself. And so at my age, I just don't understand why you would, where I was trying to pull people in, I don't understand why you would want to push people away. It makes no sense. But anyway, like I said, I digress, and I don't want to keep the rant going. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. I can tell you guys that for this week, this is not going to be the only anime vlog that I have. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for your continued love and support of the channel. I really do appreciate it. And I'll be back in time for the next video.